Often. It's just adjusting to starting and stopping. Honestly, that's all it truly is. Sometimes you're going hot, then you'll wait for a second, then you'll get cold, then get back hot, then get cold, and my arm and body wasn't used to that, so it's just an adjustment like within the body, within my arm.
Shedeur Sanders just turned a press conference into a masterclass in savage comebacks. Reporters came with an agenda. He came with receipts and a PhD in clapbacks. If you thought he was just Deion's son, think again. Grab popcorn. This ain't your average Q&A. It's Shedeur versus the noise, and he's winning.
The unmitigated galls to stand in front of that man that you dirtied his name and spread false information. I'm off the tweaker right now, Mary Kay. Let's stick to Shedeur Sanders responding to the quote-unquote so-called injury. He's explaining to y'all it was never really an injury. It's a soreness that I felt that I actually been going through. It's a climate change. I went through it in Colorado and I didn't have to sit out. Remember, he's not the one who decided to sit out, Tony Grossi. It was the Cleveland Browns medical staff. Well, at least I hope it was, because part of me believe it was Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam sabotaging. I really believe that, but I'm not.
They came with notepads, loaded questions, and the subtle art of baiting a young quarterback into a media meltdown. But Shedeur Sanders didn't flinch, not once. Instead, he delivered the kind of press conference that belongs in the Louvre, equal parts finesse, fire, and the facial expressions of a man who read every headline before breakfast and decided to return the favor with interest.
So Shedeur Sanders responds to the haters like Tony Grossi and many others who said he's sabotaging his own self because he reported his own injury. Oh, he broke it down right there. Let's never negate the part Shedeur, well, let's speak in hyperboles. Did you see Mary Kay being the tweaker? We're just speaking in hyperboles, bro. Did you see the tweaker out there just... She's thirsty as hell for more salacious stories. I bet you she spins this. Let's look at Mary Kay again. Look at her. You see this lady? Look at this tweaker. She's not a lady. My fault. She's not a lady at all. Look at that tweaker. Look at her.
Reporters thought they were pulling up to a strategy session, poke the bear, catch a quote, spin it by lunch. But what they got was Shedeur running a no-huddle offense on their narratives. You could practically hear the backspace key pounding in their heads. Did he just flip that question back at me? With stats. Yes, he did. And he did it while keeping the same calm tone you'd use to order a caramel macchiato. The man wasn't answering questions. He was airdropping reality checks with perfect accuracy. One guy tried to corner him on leadership. Leadership? Shedeur has more command in his pinky than half these franchises have in their entire quarterback rooms.
I think that's pretty much it, is reps.
How valuable do you think the reps you're going to get in this first joint practice are going to be as you guys get ready for that?
Yeah, I think every rep I get in general is valuable. We definitely taking things up a notch, I would say, with everything. So every rep, anytime I step on the field, I take it, like it could be my last, because you don't know. There's players that we was just practicing with last week that's not here no more. So like I said, it's more about a bond. It's more about going all out. It's more about, how you'll be remembered,
But sure, let's question the guy who's been running 2-minute drills since Pop Warner. Genius move. He didn't even need to raise his voice. Just a side smirk, a carefully worded sentence, and poof, question collapsed like a tent in a windstorm. Then came the classic, the veiled critique of his attitude. Ah yes, the coded language of he's too confident, also known as he's not groveling like we prefer. As if the son of Deion Sanders was going to show up in a press conference playing humble pie while people take swings at his credibility. Nah. Shedeur came in wearing invisible armor and handed out verbal eviction notices to every lazy narrative in the room.
Yeah.
So that's pretty mature of you. Not, I guess maybe mature isn't the right word, but for you to self-report, when I know it's hard for you guys to take yourselves out of even one rep when you're in the middle of the competition. So did you have to debate that at all, or did you just know?
No, of course. It's definitely something in your mind, and I always think about I always hear my dad's voice in my mind. all the time, because it's always bone or blood. You know his motto, and you know his slang with everything. So, of course, I was definitely hearing his voice in the back of my head. But at the end of the day, I want to be productive. I want to give you guys the best work, and I want to be at my best at all times.
One reporter tried to get spicy, asking whether the pressure is getting to him. Pressure? This is a guy who plays in front of sold-out crowds, throws darts like he's coding in binary, and still finds time to match his wristwatch to his cleats. If pressure was a person, Shadur would be signing its jersey. But go off, ask your little pressure question. Just don't act shocked when he hits you back with a stat line and a subtle flex. It wasn't just the answers, it was the way he turned every setup into a mic drop. He took their narrative-flavored questions and treated them like old leftovers, picked them apart, reheated them in logic, and served them back with a side of try harder.
I mean, thank you for saying that, because I don't, like, my job here isn't to prove people wrong. Like, I prove myself right. And I fully have self-belief, and what those people say, that's just their opinion. So I don't truly care. They don't really live in my mental space about that type of stuff. It really doesn't do anything for me.
The most? Is it on the field? Is it in the meeting room? Is there a specific place where you say, man, I
would say mentally. I would definitely say mentally. Even regardless if media, have good ways or bad ways to come about me, I'm more mature and not making those same mistakes I made, in college or whatever I did. So, I treat everybody with respect and with care, and whenever everybody gets over, their own hate towards me for their own weird reason, then, everything will be back good. So
at one point, someone tried to question his work ethic. Shadur, the guy who's been grinding tape while most of Twitter was still arguing about his haircuts. That's the one you want to target? He didn't get defensive. He didn't raise his voice. He just handled it. Like a pro. Like someone who's already seen the playbook these reporters were using and annotated it with sarcasm and advanced analytics. Every response was a chess move, and not checkers either. We're talking high-speed 4D, queen-sacrificing brilliance that left the room blinking. The best part? Half the media folks didn't even realize they'd been cooked until the footage started trending. 1 second you're asking a tough question, and the next you're a TikTok soundbite titled Shedeur schooling the media like it's homeroom.
Immensely popular. Why do you think that is?
Why do you think?
You're likable.
Well, yeah. I guess that's what it is. I just be myself every day. I can't control what's external. I can only control what's internal.
But with that, Shadur, how do you block all that stuff out and be a football player?
By doing what my dad raised me to do since I was like 5 years old. I seen it. I seen what he was able to do, and I have a lot of great resources and mentors, to keep me on the right track.
Dad came out with the announcement of bladder cancer last week in his treatment. Just what's that been like for you and the family?
In the last couple months?
Yeah.
Well, I would say it's definitely stay focused mentally. Dad, he's one person that he'll handle his. We handle what we got to do. So it was something that, we really ain't need to have no formal conversation about, because it was like, y'all need to focus on what y'all can focus on. Y'all can't, sit here and feel sorry for me, and then that's affecting y'all doing that. So we all knew, because our family be talking in group chats and everything. So, but at the end of the day, y'all able to see and y'all able to understand, everything on the field, off the field, what I go through.
You can't teach this level of composure. It's inherited, brewed in prime time, and polished under stadium lights. But let's talk about the subtext here. Because while the headlines will focus on the clapbacks, what Shadur really did was expose the game. The little dance reporters do when they pretend to be objective while sliding in just enough condescension to draw blood. And Shadur? He saw it. All of it. And instead of giving them the angry black quarterback trope they were probably fishing for, he gave them strategic coolness, well-placed barbs, and the vibe of someone who could sell you a luxury SUV and still throw for 400 yards that afternoon.
And he's unflappable. We have been through so much as a family, as athletes. that he is prepared for everything. The only thing that really hurt me, when they started the line and saying he wasn't prepared or he was this or he came in with headphones on. I know my sheep. I know my son. I know what I raised. I know better than that. Shedeur ain't never did nothing stupid like that. Ain't never been nowhere unprepared, ill-prepared. No.
They wanted him to answer that a completely, totally different way. But he answered it with humility, with composure, with professionalism. And he answered it appropriately. It's not his question to answer. He's just going out there doing what he can. And that's something you ask the coach. And I know exactly what they were trying to do to Shedeur. They wanted him to say something controversial. And he answered that question perfectly. Because let me ask you all this. What fifth round quarterback or what fifth round draft? Now, let's just say what fifth round quarterback are they asking this question to? What fifth round quarterback would you expect to be getting first team reps 1 week in the one week in the training camp?
He flipped the power dynamic with ease. They had the mics and the platform, but he had the truth, the charisma, and just enough pettiness to make it art. He didn't run from criticism. He ran through it, stiff-arming every bad take into next Tuesday. And let's be honest, some of those questions weren't even real questions. They were pre-scripted attempts at a gotcha moment. Too bad Shedeur had the receipts, the rebuttal, and the rhythm to dismantle them in real time. Now, of course, the next day's sports shows tried to play it down. Oh, he was a little too sensitive. No, sweetie, that wasn't sensitivity. That was media detox. That was a quarterback tired of being a walking headline and deciding to rewrite the script. This wasn't a meltdown. It was a clinic, a PR jiu-jitsu session, a front row seat to what happens when a 21-year-old quarterback handles pressure with more grace than some GMS handle draft day.
Hey, Shedeur Sanders, first of all, salute, clap, clap, young royal. The way you answered them, the reporters' questions today after training camp, perfect. The reporter's asking Shedeur Sanders, why doesn't he think he's getting any first-team reps? They actually won't debate him into saying something that's going to be controversial. But Shedeur let him know that he's thankful to be where he is. He's basically extremely happy to have the opportunity that he is. Whether he's getting first-team reps or third-team reps, he's cool with that.
So the next time someone tries to write him off as just a brand or a celebrity QB or Dion's shadow, just remember this press conference. Remember how he dismantled nonsense without breaking a sweat. Remember how he exposed the double standard without even saying it out loud. And remember that while some quarterbacks get rattled by a post-game question, Shedeur Sanders just turned an entire press pool into background noise. He didn't just win the press conference, he owned the room, the narrative, and the internet. And the media, they're still trying to figure out how they got played by a kid who smiles while he slaps your agenda into the recycling bin.